Hello and welcome to this discussion of some key issues affecting SMEs, not only in Ireland but globally. I'm joined today by my good friend and colleague, Jason Cooper. Hi, Jason.
Hey, how are you doing, Simon? Good to see you.
And you. And so the two of us have worked with ISME, the Irish Centre, the Irish Small Medium Enterprise Organisation, great organisation. And we gave a course a couple of weeks ago or last week on sales resilience.
That's right, yeah.
And it went really well. And we've been asked back to now give a new program on building confidence to rebalance your business. Maybe before I go through the three aspects of the three separate days for that course, do you want to just share a little bit about the work that we've done together and why it's so important right now to provide this new program on building confidence for business owners?
Well, as we all know, the way the world is at the moment, there's a little bit of anxiety going in there. Everyone wants to start there and get back into it, and everyone wants to get their work going again and get some money back into the economy and so on and so forth. But because there's been a little bit of stoppage and the market has changed, everything's changed, the economy is not going to be as strong as it was back in February or January or last year or whenever it was.
Correct, yeah.
We know it's going to be slightly more challenged. So there's going to be a little bit of fear possibly around that. So we want to give some really good logical steps to get themselves back into confidence, show them that fear is something just straight in the mind, give them some tools and give them some focus to get back onto it and push forward and go back into the mindset where they were back in February, where they were back in January and last year, so they can power on forward and start to get revenue in and start to get business in. And I'll give you a little example. A friend of mine, he is landscape and he does artificial grass and all that. He's already going out and seeing customers already. He's actually going out pitching. He's getting customers coming in. Yeah. So once it's opened up on the 18th, isn't it? So I believe that That's he's right. Ready and he's ready, prepared to go out there. But there's a lot of other people out there that are probably wanting to do that, but just there's something stopping them, or there's a little bit of fear. Is the market going to be the same? We're going to give some good logical steps over the three workshops to do that.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do is over 3 days, we're going to deal with day one, the importance of building confidence, and then day two, we'll look at move on, and this sort of develops on each day. Day two will be about rebalancing your business, and then day three will be looking at sales and then how you grow your business. So in terms of day one, we start off by looking at the importance of a growth mindset and belief. What would you like to say about the core stuff around growth mindset and belief?
Well, it's all to do with the number of questions that you have to ask, and it's all to do with the questions that you have to ask yourself. For you to actually go into your subconscious and your conscious mind is to change the way that you think and do about things, because everything is to do with how you program the mind. Whatever you say and suggest to your mind is true. So whether you believe it to be right or believe it to be wrong, that's the answer. It's the age-old thing. So that's really engrossed into the mindset, how you think and how you portray yourself. So we'll be having a look at areas like that. And ideally, we'll be questioning the audience to actually question themselves and get the answers and get them to write some answers down, just to go through certain aspects of that so they can build up their mojo and they can build up their certain aspects of belief and mindset.
Yeah, so we're really looking at tools to review your own positivity and your own focus. And then we move on to the second aspect then is leveraging resilience and awareness. Just explain why that's so important now for business owners.
Well, I think it's always been important. As we already know, we've all had the times when things haven't gone as well as we'd like them to do, but we've also had the times when things have gone really well. It's really important to learn from the times that didn't go so well. What can we do to change the way the ways of our failures and the ways that we didn't work quite so well? So that really builds resilience. Like, we've both been in business for many years. We've had some really good highs and we've also had some really good lows. It's the lows that you build resilience from. It's the lows that you go on. Some days you're not as good as the other days. That you just build up a terminology, especially in sales. I've been in sales for many years. You have some highs and you have some lows. It's to get yourself back up to the state where you feel good again. So that's certain aspects of resilience.
Absolutely. And we're also looking at, core aspects around, crisis cash flow management, because that involves, you have to be resilient and aware enough to realize that you have to manage this stuff. And then the third thing then on day one is looking at delivering through motivation and positive focus. And I guess that rolls into the whole area of health and healthy relationships. Why is that really, really important at this first stage of building your confidence?
Well, look, as we know, health is hugely important. What you put into your body powers the engine, powers the stomach, gets to the heart, and then gets to the head. So whatever food that you take in, if you're eating fast food every day, expect not to be feeling very healthy and
you're going
not
to be sluggish,
energetic. So the second part is to do exercise, whatever your exercise might be, whether it is Joe Wicks or whether you're doing running or whether you're doing walking or cycling or whatever it might be. Just be active. And also control your breath as well, because that's really important. So whether you do mindfulness or whether you just do breathe in and breathe in for 4, hold for 4 and breathe out for 4, then hold. And you do those sort of techniques as well, which is really good to get the circulation running and good for the head. So all of those sort of techniques are really important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's day one. And then day two then, so we move on from building your confidence. And then to day two, we look at rebalancing your business. And I guess what we're doing here is we're really looking at strategies and execution standards to maintain your business focus. And so we're looking at things like collaboration and innovation. We're looking at transformation change methodologies. And then I guess third up, we're looking at things like trust, maintaining trust, influence, relationship building. What do you want to say about the whole area of trust and relationships and influence from a business rebalancing perspective?
Well, people buy people that they trust. They buy from brands and businesses that they connect with. So really, when you start to have a look at trust, you start to look at your audience. You start to look at relationships that you already have. You start to look at your credibility and people that know you, good, bad, or indifference, and find out the reasons that they do like you, and connect with people again and start reconnecting with the businesses that you may have spoken to 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and you want to establish and re-establish those relationships back to you. Because as we know, Dublin's quite a small place. And as we know, it's I think it's 2 degrees of separation, but it is almost 3 degrees. So reputation is key. And to build back that reputation, I just want to go back onto a previous point on our sales resilience. One of the guys said that he was in a certain type of business and he was at the high end of the marketplace. But he was suggesting now, he wanted to sort of look at a different area of the market. And
pivot. He wanted to pivot, didn't he?
He wanted to pivot. And I think that's perfect, because now's the time, as we all know, through every single challenging time within the marketplace at the end of the 1980s and 2008, things have a habit of now is the time to innovate. Now's the time to really sort of stretch the ideas. The people that stretch the ideas now are going to last the length and the duration. Like we've seen Facebook come out of 2009. They came out, and then LinkedIn came out a few years later. And see them now; they're massive, huge businesses. And then you see at 2008, there's been other massive businesses come out of that. Those sorts. We know Slack. We know the 2 guys from Galway that's really made it big in the financial market. So those sort of companies just stretch the imagination and they innovate.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes out of the tools we discuss in day one, which are around building positivity and staying at the peak of performance. So what we're also going to look at a little bit in day 2 is about the importance of brand, personal brand, business brand, and how you make sure your culture fits with the customer expectations, and also about honest communications within the organization. What do you want to say about that? If you're a leader in an organization and there's bad news to be told, is it always better to be as honest as you can be, or is it? What would you say about that? Or are the best leaders as honest as they can be within a corporate perspective?
I think the communication process has always got to be honest. You have to be trustworthy, because people buy people that they trust, but they also see bullshit. They also see straight through the line. And if you have from the top down, and if the communication is honest, and they don't necessarily need to know all the nuts and bolts about what the actual stratosphere is, but they need to know, so this is the situation. This is how we see it. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to see your input to it as well. You might have a better idea than what we do. Like, okay, the top executives are paid X amount to do these ideas, but not necessarily always to be true. That's how lean thinking works. Lean thinking works as spreading the ideas across the organization, because the best ideas comes sometimes from elsewhere in the organization. Something else which is really quite apparent right now is people getting less money because the pandemic that we have, and their CEOs getting more money and they haven't had any pay cuts. For me, I don't see trust in that. If everyone in the organization has 50% less monthly wages through the organization, I think that builds a little bit of trust, and then they can all think of ideas about getting it back on track until they're all happy about, we're okay now to go back to 100% wages or whatever it might be. I think that sort of communication is really quite key for any type of business right now, or even going on into the future.
Correct. I think we discussed it before as well offline, that I think there are 3 attributes: authenticity, credibility, and trust. I think they're so important and yet so fragile. So I think we're going to discuss a lot about this in day 2 around rebalancing your business, and then we'll look in more detail around collaboration and how you leverage collaboration and bring in collaborative technologies. So then we move into day 3, and we really then build on day 1, which is confidence, day 2, rebalancing, and then we talk really about growing for the future. So we look at the whole area of sales and growing your business. So we start with the whole area really of online sales and using questioning, listening, and cross-selling techniques online. What would you like to say about what we're going to address around online selling techniques?
Well, as we know, online selling has been around for a number of years, but it now is going to be a lot more apparent, because people are not necessarily going to be going out to face-to-face meetings as much as they ever did. So we're going to be having a look about simple communication techniques to get across and communicate in more of an effective manner, but also have a look at the digital tools as well that can help you, enable you to be more effective in communication. I always like picking up the phone as the best. I like to speak and hear and understand, but obviously on a Zoom call, we can actually see people face to face. So these calls like this and other sort of webinar teams and so on and so forth, other tools and technology. Then we have a look at the online communication, meaning Twitter, the social selling aspect of it, Twitter, LinkedIn, and whatever else. There's lots and lots of other mediums out there. Some will work for you, and some might not necessarily work. But it's all about ABC testing.
And just a plug here for a friend of both of ours, Samantha Kelly, the tweeting goddess. I mean, she's taught me how to interpret communication through Twitter. So I can now almost tell whether somebody is being genuine and trying, whether somebody is being too forceful and too salesy, and I hadn't got that ability to do that. It was also interesting. Yesterday I did a podcast with a webinar with Stephen Kelly, the ex-CEO of Sage, amongst many things. And he made a good point that in some respects it's easier. It's actually easier. And I don't know whether this is being calibrated or checked, to almost form a relationship of trust online than it is face to face. And what do you think of that? Because I don't know, but I think he might be right, you know, particularly if you have some sort of level of astuteness and self-awareness online. What do you think of that?
I think it is, if you're selling into a medium now, people know about you more than you think. They checked your LinkedIn profile out, they checked your Twitter profile out, they checked everything else out, and they checked your products, and they checked your services and whatever you do before you actually engage in a proper conversation. So you're going into a pitch or a sales pitch about the product. They already know about that. So why do that when they already know about that? So what they should be doing is doing the relationship building.
Absolutely.
Which is the most important thing.
Yeah, which really is the essence of the 3 day of our day 3 of our program. It's about creating value to a relationship and to somebody who wants your goods and services, rather than that old school salesy stuff. So we look at online questioning and listening and cross-selling techniques. Then we look at the importance of follow-up, tracking, and then finally we talk about online etiquette and closing techniques. Are there any, just to bring this short discussion to an end, are there any particular things you'd like to flag to the audience around what maybe a couple of things that you should do online, and maybe 1 or 2 things that you should definitely not do online if you're building that value relationship?
Okay, email etiquette, keep it very concise, straight to the point. People don't want to read a long email. They want to say, bang, 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 this is what we do, or whatever it might be. 2 or 3 points. I like the power of 3 because it's impactful, and most things with influence persuasion is power 3. So emails is that. Again, another thing that I've suggested before in the past is a video inserted within an email. Very powerful. LinkedIn, when you connect with someone, this is an obvious thing. You write a little note. Hi, Simon, good to meet you. I saw this that you were talking about X and Y online. I'd love to connect with you. But if you are sending a message, do not sell straight away. The amount of times that I've received, and we've all done that, is received the message via LinkedIn. Hi, Jason, this is my product. And to me, I just delete their profile straight away because I'm not interested. They don't know me. They don't know what I want. They haven't spoken to me. They're just selling to me based on I don't know what. So that's etiquette. Twitter, as we know, being concise, working with people that you like to collaborate with across all mediums. Twitter I've been on since 2009, so I believe, but I don't know it all. I really don't know it all. And it's sometimes you have to be a little bit honest to say, look, I don't know it all there. And get help, get a guidance and advice. Like Sam Caddy, she can give you advice on that. There's loads of people out there can give you. Again, build that relationship. Say, look, would you mind having a look at my profile? What would you suggest? And there's several LinkedIn learnings up there, LinkedIn learning courses that you can go on and find out the ideas from yourself.
Absolutely. So that really is just a short snapshot of our new program that we're going to be doing with ISME, isme.ie, Irish Small Medium Enterprise Organization. Great organization doing really amazing work for SMEs in Ireland. And the program is building confidence to rebalance your business. And as I said, day 1 is about the confidence, day 2 rebalancing, and day 3 around sales and growing. So Jason, how do people connect with you if they want to talk with you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. You'll see me on there. If you go Jason Cooper via Google, you'll probably come up with one of the lead singers who's a drummer. That's not me.
I've seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it. So you'll see it eventually. I see a picture of me. On Instagram, it's Jason A. Cooper. Twitter, Jason A. Cooper, or jcooper@jasoncooper.ie, which is my email address, and jasoncooper.ie, which is my website, which is in the very slow stages of changing. I'm going to be using a new logo called Service Your Mind, which is quite apparent for me, which is really good for me.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I can be contacted Simon@simonhaigh, HAIGH.com, or simon@gcmadvisory.com. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter as well now, a little bit on Instagram. Don't confuse me with, there's a Simon Haigh dentist, there's a Simon Haigh celebrity chef. It's simonhaigh.com is the best way to find me. And another plug for ISME, isme.ie. It's been great talking with you, Jason, and we both look forward to delivering this program and working more together to help SMEs in Ireland and overseas. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.